So we're going to be hopping into a game, guys. It is submitted by the player who honestly should have been asking for coaching a long time ago. He's up here in the top left. His name is Noregret. Yeah, I told him that his play is so embarrassing in the past that I didn't want to take him on as a student because I didn't want people to think that is what I coached. But I said, look, the newbie stream's open to everyone. There's no one too low level, so we're going to help him with his, it's a pretty tall task. I think with my help, we can help him with his question, which was, how do I beat Dark at 6,300 plus MMR on the Korean ladder? So this is Dark. He's pretty washed up and terrible at StarCraft. Hasn't made a BlizzCon Grand Finals in 3 years now. So, bit of a shitter. Don't know when the last time he won a GSL was. Has he? I don't think he ever won a GSL. He won a couple of SSLs back in 2016. Washed up. And Noregret, of course, Mr. Umpleby himself, the man who honestly basically embodies broken esports promises. He promised to eat a shoe if Rogue got knocked out of Home Story Cup. Rogue got knocked out in the group stage of Home Story Cup. Guess who still hasn't eaten a shoe? Don't trust his lies. Jake, you murdered my hopes and dreams of esports. And now here he is, looking for some coaching. What a shitter. Do build orders from the beginning of the game matter? Is it some type of meta opener? Like, you just go Roach Revenger? No! Disabled animal, it's Ravager. That's one of the most common typos or misspellings or misknowings of a word. And my viewers know how triggered I am right now. You're like, I'm a disabled animal, man. Shrug shoulders. I know. But if you also start asking about missile torrents, I'm going to get really mad. Revenges and missile torrents are like my trigger words. If there are two words that are constantly misspelled and mispronounced, and yes, even Tasteless said Revenger for like the first couple of weeks of Legacy of the Void cast in GSL, and I was like, Tasteless, stop! Stop! The fuck is a Revenger? It's not a thing. It ravages. It ravages things. It's a Ravager. Which, by the way, random tangent, I actually still think is a better name for the Disruptor. Because I feel like if you look at the way Corrosive Bile works, Corrosive Bile kind of disrupts. Like, it very rarely lands. It just makes shit move out of the way. So Ravager's like, hey, I disrupt you, made you move. Whereas you see a Disruptor shot land and you're like, that shit just got ravaged. Like, an entire army can die to a single Disruptor shot. That's clearly, they got the names mixed up. They got the names mixed up. Like, it's a Disruptor. Well, he doesn't... You ever walk into someone's house and fucking slice their head off with a samurai sword and then you're like, oh, did I disrupt your day? No, you fucking murdered them. Use correct terminology. Don't be naming your shit wrong. That's confusing. So that's my rant, which is associated here. People were asking earlier how to hold a 13-12. We may have a masterclass here. Actually, knowing Jake, maybe he sent in a replay where he breaks him. That would be friggin' hilarious. Jake still hasn't even thought about expanding. He's like, I don't know what that is. And I'm like, what? Oh, the banelings wriggled through! Wriggly boys, wriggly boys, wriggly boys! Oh man, there's a lot of Reddit point drones, but he's still got 20 workers. He's gonna lose his natural now. Notice how Noregret didn't target the natural? That allowed more lava to build. More Zergons to pop out. However, it also meant he couldn't rebuild it. So, and it didn't allow the broodlings to come out either. Jake's going to keep going with this. He's going to keep headbutting. That was a pretty sick setup there, right? Spines there, Baneling to fully wall off that entrance. Queen, which was slightly misplaced there, but should have walled that off. So some pretty cool details here from Dark in terms of how that works. It's banglings. You can do a bangling bust? Fuck you, Twitch chat. Take your banglings and your revenges and fucking shove them where the sun don't shine. Fucking banglings, fucking stupid. Stupid. The number of people who used to call them banglings in Wings of Liberty, I was like, what the fuck did you just say? Yeah, they're like, yeah, because they bang. I'm like, are you serious? Are you serious right now? You think bangling is a word? What the fuck are you talking about? Where did you go to school? And you know what's funny? They're always native English speakers. They're Australians, British, Americans, South Africans. You speak to a fucking dude from Norway, he's always going to pronounce Ravager, Baneling, and Missile Turret correctly. But it's going to be a bunch of those native English speakers who are like, I don't know how to speak my own fucking language, mate. Hydrolisks, Take your Hydralisks to your fucking stay hydrated bot and go spam some Twitch chat streams about how many ounces of fucking water you need. As if anyone measures water in ounces in the free world outside of America. Jeebers. Anyways, we're having fun ranting while Noregret washes up on the firm, solid rock that is Dark. Dark is held. He's stabilized. We're fine. Down here in the left, he's actually taken an expansion. He's down 2 workers, but that's going to change real quick. So Dark, I think, skipped Ling Speed, right? No, he's got Ling Speed.
Yeah.
Kind of surprised Dark isn't counter-pressuring here. Dark's just playing real conservative. He's saying, nah, you can probably defend with queens. It's a giant map. Look at this cheeky boy. He says, I know where your overlords are. This is something you really pay attention to in pro games, guys, is you look at where their overlords are and you say, cool. This overlord's not watching the high ground. He won't get vision until he's halfway up this ramp. My Baneling, if I see Lings coming, I can run forward and just blow up on their face. I can bangling their the Zergling counterattack. Dark here is going to make a lair. Queen, Spine, Banelings. Cool, cool. And he's going to go +1 melee, which is awesome for a big map like this and awesome against muters. I reckon Jake sent me a win, hasn't he? Fucking Noregret, man. He's like, how do I beat Dark? Just kidding. I just wanted you to cast a replay where I beat him.
Oh, yes. Oh,
I would give him a slight edge, actually, in this game. Just because, like, faster third, +1 melee. Yes, I just don't think the muters are going to be out at a super annoying timing or anything like that. So I think if he just drones a bit, he's building Zerglings. Okay, I don't like that he's building Zerglings, right? I feel like Jake should be going up to 40 drones and then massing Zerglings with this. His melee is nowhere near done. He gets in, he sees it's muter play on 2 base. Not a fan of holding down the Zergling key. At the same time, it's probably the last thing his opponent expects. So he's going to go across the map now. Melee is still like 50 seconds from finishing. So, and the problem is this is a tight ramp with a Spine and 2 queens on it. This should be the easiest hold of Dark's entire life, and he's still massing Lings. Of course, it's Noregret. He just cancels the third, runs back to his natural. This is how Noregret plays StarCraft, guys. Oh, he blocked himself. That's a bad Baneling morph. I do not like that Baneling morph. I do not like that Baneling morph. But look at these Banelings from Dark. He's keeping them moving. He won't detonate them. He's just saying, if you try to run past, they'll detonate. If you clump up your Lings on my queens, I'll detonate. Otherwise, I'm not going to. He's out of Banelings, though. Oh my god, he morphed these other Banelings mega late. I don't think Dark had any extra Zerglings out because he was being so greedy, but a couple of good Baneling debts. He's almost got one more there. Baneling's looking for the mineral line. +1 melee is still not done. Dark's Banelings are going to finish, though. As long as he can finish that Spine, which Jake does. He takes a bad hit there. His Banelings on the high ground. Some of them hit the drones. He's got 1 Baneling alive. Make that 3. Oh, he blew up on the cocoon. Bad control from Jake there. Bit of a miss micro. And, yeah. He lost his queens. So there's no real anchor to Dark's defense, but he's got a ton of Lings. Oh, there we go. He's got 2 queens now. He should be fine. Should be able to anchor this defense. Meanwhile, Jake, Mr. Noregret, is just holding down the Zergling key. And this is such a hard ramp to break. On Automaton, I'd be like, I think Jake can still win this game. Like with this all in here right now. But as it is, I think he needs to drone a long time ago. And I really wish he had waited till Dark had committed to the third, started building the muters, and then flooded with the Lings a bit more. A bit later in the game. He might have said, look, this is the point where you just don't have any Banelings at home. You don't have any Zerglings. And he did almost break through. He's getting a bit of damage, but that Baneling's going to finish. Gets 5 Zerglings. That was big. Big, 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 big. God, Dark's good. So now Dark is going to keep his muters on the defense. He desperately needs to make more Banelings, which he has none of right now. So his muters, like, they can't really leave. Yeah, he sends 2 muters to get the Overlord, and the other ones have to stay covering the ramp, or he's going to get ravaged. Banelings, Banelings, Banelings. Yep. Interestingly, I wonder if Dark control groups his Ling Bane. He isn't control grouping from eggs at all right now. I wonder if that's a response to the chaotic situation he's in. He's control grouping his muters from eggs. He's not control grouping his Ling Bane at all. So he's just saying, nah, I'll just be manually controlling those. Oh, cheeky Banelings, cheeky Banelings. Dark's trying to focus them. He's trying to focus them. Ugh, good Baneling hit there by Noregret, but there's still 1 Baneling, and that's all you need. 1 Baneling on the ramp is going to stop Jake from getting up there. Ooh, I feel like he should have moved south with that Baneling, but I guess +1 melee Lings. Yeah, still holds. A little bit of damage. Oh, muters, get that fucking Baneling. What are you doing? Good drone pull, good drone pull. Queen's still alive. He needs more Banelings. I feel like Dark here, He's getting up a sick muta count. He does hold on, and Jake is unable to break through. God damn. Florencio mispronounces zealots. Oh yeah, he does call them zealots, doesn't he? A lot of people do that. That's that. I don't get as triggered by that one. That I actually find a lot funnier. Just like chasm. You notice how there's a bit of a chasm on the north side of this map? That's where Amon's head comes out of this chasm in space. Yeah. You know, do you guys know what my favorite PvZ opening is? It's the double Archon drop. Yeah. Comes with a side of illiteracy. The Zergs never expect that one. Muradon, thanks for the 29-month resub. What's up, mate? Thank you for the awesome content. Thank you so much for sliding into the big stay, dude. Zerg BJ's for the lose. That name always fucking freaks me out, man. I don't want to imagine what a Zerg BJ is like. Stop it. Change your Twitch name. Thanks for the 3-month resub. He says, I think Bangling might be part of my next screen name. Can't wait. Chicken Man, the 17-month resub. How you doing, Chicken Man? Thank you so much for the support. Banglings. Yeah, you love those banglings, don't you? Jeebus. Only legends do double Archon drops.
Oh my god.
Oh no. Yeah, the really cool thing is, have you guys ever played New Gettysburg? There's this really cool thing where if you actually take a single Archon and you drop it on the bridge over the chasm, that Archon can actually block any number of Zerglings from flooding across the bridge. It's pretty cool, man. Call it the Archon Chasm maneuver. I want to kill myself. Every time I make it, this is like the cuck rant all over again. I used to make fun of people that said cuck so much. Now I literally call interference matrix cuck matrix. I am a moron. Thanks, Cliggity. Appreciate gifting that sub there to Noregret. Is Noregret around? Don't think he's here, right? I don't even know if he wakes up by this time. It's like 10:30 in the morning in Korea. It's not gamer o'clock yet. So anyway, guys, let's go through Dark's response and talk about how fucking lit it is, because this was beautiful. First things first, Dark's first Overlord is not actually looking for the Zerglings. It goes straight to the natural, which means... Oh, actually, does it time out? Let's take a look. The worst is German words and names pronounced wrong by English. I like French ones. That's not how you're supposed to say Spielberg. Spielberg! Nah, man, it's Spielberg, dude. Have you guys ever met... I used to have a friend when I was a kid who was from France. His name was Francois. Have you guys ever known anyone called Francois? It's a pretty good one, too. Sort of a bit of an odd name. Francois. That's the one where, like, even when you know I'm joking, it's like you're like, the cringe. So yeah, he doesn't really spot this very early. So Dark actually gets pretty late warning on this. I'm a little surprised that he doesn't path his second Overlord to go south and then go across the map so that he could see it earlier, right? Because I don't think he sees this until like this moment. Like if we go on Dark's camera, he's just chilling. But because it's such a big map, I think he's just not considering 1312 to be a threat. I think he's just like, whatevs, don't care. Also, he wants to get this to the other side because it's a big map. He wants to check if it's 3H before pool as quickly as possible. Even though that Overlord can kind of check the natural and check that pretty easily, I think maybe to check that, you slightly lose vision at the top, so you might miss Lings going out. Either way, we're going to see Dark on the biggest map, so in essence, it's the easiest map to defend it on, but he has no warning whatsoever. And he hasn't even built the Overlord, actually, because he's doing the 16 hatch drone straight up to 21 drone build order. So he has a ton of workers, a ton of economy. But yeah, so he's like, cool, just building queens. He's actually building another drone. Holy fuck. So Noregret's build is really good because Dark plays so greedy here. He doesn't build any Zerglings, doesn't see it until the Lings are his natural. He has to abandon this natural 100%. And seeing more Lings come out already tells Dark that he's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. That's definitely more than 10 Zerglings, and they've kind of stacked up and hidden in there a bit. Whoa! So let's watch Dark's response here to 1312, where he's already mined a lot of gas. He's already about to start his Ling speed, hasn't started it just yet. And he's like, whoa, immediately drops the spine in the main, starts queuing up Zerglings, pulls all the drones back. He does still build a queen from the natural, and he builds Zerglings from there. And he's going to immediately put down, I think, second spine and then Baneling Nest in this scenario. A lot of the time you'd see the Baneling Nest first, but yeah, the spines are the necessary thing to get up to like help you survive, right? They're the fastest defense, because it's like you make it 36 seconds later, you got this big fat anchor of death tentacling the shit out of anyone that wants to probe your main base. That gap is not bad. Usually that one can be a little bit better with your queen, but either way, they're going to get some surface area. The Baneling Nest blocking there is beautiful. This queen on hold position, plugging that gap. And if the Lings try to fight her, what you can do with this queen is you pull her back. So if you've ever got Lings attacking a queen in a choke point from one side, move her back just a little bit. So click up and then hold position so that there'll only be 1 or 2 Lings that can fit in here. Whereas out here, 1, 2, 3 Lings, maybe even a 4th could fit in. Probably 3, but if you pull back half the hex, only 2 Zerglings can hit you. So that's a really cool little detail. Now with the Lings, you want to stay near the mineral line, but you don't want to stay too far back. A really cool detail that will fuck up low-level players, but Dark doesn't bother doing because he's playing at the peak, is hold positioning drones or Zerglings in the gaps. So notice, right now, the only ways into the mineral line are here, 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 and here. So what I'll often do in this scenario is I'll grab a Zergling or 2, I'll hold position there. I'll grab a drone, hold position there, drone, hold position there, drone, hold position there, Zergling, hold position there. So there's like no way in until they kill those units. And they don't want to blow up Banelings on a single Zergling, and your spines are hitting them the whole time they're doing it. You just got to be wary that you don't trap your own units in there, because you can't move out of that hold position guy either without mineral walking. Now, if they go around here with all their Banelings, what are we going to do? We're going to pull all of our drones to that mineral patch, and if they get in there, we can try to mineral walk down to the natural. But you got to be really freaking careful, because if they come in with more Banelings and you're all stacked up, you go to the other side of the queen, you're in trouble. But often what will happen, right, is they'll see you doing that, stacking your drones and starting to go that way, and the Banelings will run back this way, and you drill back through the queen, back into your minerals. So you can do a bit of like a mineral walk dance. It's very dangerous, though, if you stack your drones up. So sometimes, depending on the scenario, how many Banelings there are, I won't risk that. And instead, I will just start frantically spreading the drones out rather than risking clumping them up, because I know I'm going to make mistakes. And that mistake is going to be 1,000 times more punishing if my drones are stacked. Now notice here, Dark pulls the drones to the left, and then he just tries to run them. So he's just like, no, just get him out, just get him out, just get him out. And he tries to stack them once the Banelings are gone. Yeah. He does a pretty good job here. Tries to make Banelings as soon as he can. Tries to just spread his drones behind his mineral line. Really good on the fly splitting. Sick control. What's a hex? A hex is a 6. I don't know. I haven't really spent a lot of time in the map editor. Are they squares or hexes? Someone got their nerd alpha points in chat. Alpha's like, oh, I fucking told you. There are 4 sides, otherwise it's a fucking square. I know, you're just kidding. Are they squares? They are, right? They're not actually hexes. I'm used to playing, I guess, like all the old hex games, like turn-based strategy games and Civilization, all that. It's always hexes on those. But yeah, I guess in the map editor, it's normally like a weird sideways. It's like a rhombus, right? It's like a sideways square thing. Anyway, that's a good hold. Dark's a legend, and he ends up crushing through. So GG, well played, Dark. Noregret, how can you beat Dark next time? Learn to play macro. He could have done a little bit better of spreading Zerglings from the Banelings. He could have done a little bit better focusing those Zerglings on the red hit point drones. Arguably, he could have taken his hatch earlier behind it, committed less to the Banelings. I'm not sure where that would put him in the game. But if you do that and you just make it really hard for your opponent to take your natural, that can be really good if you're not playing an absolute god. Dark was Noregret was super committed, though. I think he still ended up in a perfectly fine position, but I would have actually preferred to see him go mass upgraded Ling. And I would have loved to see that and how Dark plays against it, because Dark's Baneling micro is pretty sick, dude. Pretty sick.